First time really the sun's been out for these cars on the track as they come through the tri-oval. Up front, Truex Jr., Harvick. Green flags in the air, racing in Kansas. A great start to the race for the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. out front by 2 car lengths. Fight for second now building between Kevin Harvick on the outside in that number 4 and the 20 of Matt Kenseth. Martin Truex Jr. again out front has over a 4-second lead right now over Kyle Busch, who's moved up to second. Normally you would think running second for Kyle Busch would be a good thing, but the last mile-and-a-half track at Charlotte, Kyle Busch was running second and on his own got up into the wall, did damage. It ended up being a bad start to the round of 12 for Kyle Busch, but right now he's holding on to that second spot as we do see the competition caution coming out now. Another great launch for the 78, but here comes the 18. Truex Jr. out front, Kyle Busch with a great run off of 2. Fighting back on the inside, the 4 of Kevin Harvick.
Kyle Larson on the very top lane, trying to make it 3 wide.
That's for a restart violation, Colt.
We're hearing the 78 getting posted for a restart violation, and when he dove below the white line, I know that in the driver's meeting, Richard Buck mentioned that that inside line was not supposed to go below the white line until after the start-finish line. We got to look at it again. Again, the 78 will be on the inside line, and he can't go below the white line until he gets to the start-finish line. And obviously, he does.
So the question is, what about Kevin Harvick in the 4 car?
You know, also followed him.
Yeah.
Is it their start-finish line now?
Yeah, we got to pit this time to do a pass-through.
You hear it. The crew letting them know you've got to pit this time and do a pass-through. So from race leader to having to serve a penalty to come to pit road. Entering Kansas, 3rd in the points, 29 points above the cutoff line. Now he's 10th, and he's 21 points behind that cutoff line.
Well, I think the main thing right now, if you look at where everybody's running, the entire top, where Eric Jones is running 10th, but everybody in the top 9 are guys that are in the playoffs. So on a day where Kyle Larson could have a catastrophic day, everyone else is having a good one.
But Jeff, the big winner of this first stage has got to be Kyle Busch, currently leading. If he can stay in this position as we have the 42, finally letting go on the front stretch, smoking down the apron here, Rick.
And there it went. So the ECU couldn't even protect the engine for Kyle Larson, and now Kyle Larson's hopes of making it into the round of 8 go up in smoke.
Well, this tells me it wasn't just an electronic issue, unless that caused some sort of mechanical failure. You see the smoke out the pipes. You know, listen, there's 100 things that could be inside the engine, but definitely a failure that he's not going to be able to recover from.
Kyle Busch wins stage 1, and not only does he gain a valuable playoff point, but the 10 points for winning that stage is definitely helping him as he started the day below the cut line. Those 10 points are going to make it a little bit easier to try to advance, and now with the problems with the 42, another step forward for Kyle Busch. Take a look at the stage 1 results.
And look at these stage results. And Kevin Harvick gained points, Denny Hamlin. How about Ryan Blaney? Very calm drive to the front. Great call on the pit box to get his track position. Got 7 points. Jimmy Johnson with 5. Matt Kenseth, though, remember, he started 3rd in this race, but only got 2 stage points. I think that's a loss for Matt Kenseth.
Green flag back in the air, and on the inside, Kyle Busch. Outside is Kevin Harvick.
Chase Elliott on the inside. Remember, he made that move after the start-finish line, so that's legal.
Top two hold their positions through 1 and 2. .48 running that second line, that second groove. 24 down on the bottom of the racetrack. And it looks like maybe we will see again a caution that ends the stage. So we were coming up on the final laps of stage 2, and the caution comes out for Brett Moffitt in the 83. Hamlin, Johnson, Keselowski, and Stenhouse Jr. all did not come to pit road. Kyle Busch did, though. He restarts in the 5th position. Let's see if those older tires can hold them off for 1 lap. Matt Kenseth charging hard on the bottom of the racetrack, as is Harvick on the outside. The 18 of Kyle Busch gets caught behind the 48. Here comes Harvick, though. Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski working through 3 and 4.
Johnson
Harvick on the outside. Johnson continues to fall back. The 11 of Denny Hamlin is going to win stage 2. Johnson, does he hang on to a top 10 spot? He did. 1 point for Johnson, but Kenseth, who he's been fighting with, finished 4th in that stage.
And how about the call by Denny Hamlin and his team to stay out? Think about this, that earned them points, but also playoff points for the next round.
Great restart for Kevin Harvick. Kenseth running 2nd. Kyle Busch, the winner of stage 1, is 3rd. Eric Jones, Ryan Blaney in the top 5. McMurray Elliott, Austin Dillon, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has fallen back down to 13th, but was up in the top 10. Suarez and Kurt Busch have jumped up in front of him. Jimmy Johnson running in the 11th spot, trying to gain back some of those positions.
What's amazing to me about Jimmy Johnson and many of these drivers is they'll give that time on a day that could determine whether or not they're going to have a chance to win a championship. And we see these drivers, these athletes, they are so unbelievably good, even in stressful moments, of taking a break and saying, hey.
Oh, around goes the 48 as he was coming out of turn 4, sliding through the grass. Caution comes out again. He was right up behind the back of the 41. And the back end came around just as he was coming out of turn 4.
You can see he was right in front of the 41 car, and it just comes around on him. Right there, Steve, the right front digging in the grass. See the back of the hood.
It's relatively fortunate, though. I don't see a lot of damage. That hood kind of will blow up at times in the back, some of the way the hinges are designed. We'll have to see. This is another great shot at it.
Kevin Harvick on the inside. Kyle Busch spins the tires on the restart. Had a little bit of a shove from behind him, and the 24 of Chase Elliott. Here comes Martin Truex Jr. in the 78 on the outside of that 14 of Clint Boyer.
48 around
up into
again,
the wall. It's the 48 one more time around. And so the caution again comes out.
When they get up to speed, we'll see if there's any damage to the car. Whatever happened.
Just after the restart, we see the 48 way up against the wall, and on entry gets around.
Never really made big impact. I think the biggest issue for the 48 right now is that whatever issue they had before this wreck, and also they just used another set of tires, they could get to the point where they run out of tires.
And Jeff, they were down a set already. They had 2 stickers before that stop and it glued up another set. So they're in dire straits there.
Harvick and Kyle Busch once again making up row 1. Look who's joined the party in the top 3. The 77 of Eric Jones and the 24, and around goes the 77 of Jones, almost up over the wall as they hit hard.
That Kenseth,
the 20 of Kenseth involved, as is the 1 of McMurray. A big wreck coming out of turn 2.
Inside, watch your inside. All right, we're rolling, guys. 4 flat.
They're coming off turn 2, and Eric Jones, car gets loose, puts a little bit too much wheel back to the right, and basically head on into the wall, and then major impact behind, got him up in the air.
I think that was Daniel Suarez perhaps that made the first impact. It looked like the 19 car, that orange and white car.
But as we mentioned, the 20 involved, the 1 of Jamie McMurray, both involved in the playoffs, part of the round of 12.
There's the big hit right there for the 20 car. You see Jimmy Johnson on the left-hand side of the screen sliding through.
Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick once again on the front row. And Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney. Martin Truex Jr. also in the top 5. Big run on the outside line. And once again, we see the 78 moving toward the front. Kyle Busch, one of the most talented racers on the track, but he also has to be thinking about how good Martin Truex Jr. is on 1.5-mile tracks. And you see right now the average finish for Martin Truex Jr. this year has been a 3rd place finish. And right now he is running 2nd, potentially, if he could go on to win this race, could bring it back down and challenge Bobby Labonte for that record. And to the front he goes. Martin Truex Jr. takes the lead away from Kyle Busch.
Great recovery by this 78 car.
78.
Remember, they
3.
had that restart penalty at lap 36, then they had a loose wheel on lap 91. It's been an eventful day for the 78, Kelly, but they have recovered well. Lap 210 taking the lead.
One more time around the 1.5 mile. A fabricator for the Furniture Row team, Jim Watson, lost his life yesterday. And so now, with heavy hearts, they race, but Martin Truex Jr. trying to put another win in the column for the organization and the family. Coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. He's going to do it again. Martin Truex Jr. wins.
For you, Jim. Love you, bud. Oh, yeah, guys. Fight. Appreciate it, man. This one's for Jim.
He just said it's unbelievable. I think that's what this year has been like. But, man, what an emotional day, Martin Truex Jr., for you and the team. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Just can't say enough about all these guys on this Furniture Row Bass Pro Toyota. Just really proud of them, and definitely racing with heavy hearts today. We losing Jim last night. Want to send our condolences to his family and all his friends. And he was a heck of a guy and a great worker, and put a lot of speed in these Furniture Row Toyotas. So glad we could get him here, get him one here today, and excited to get another one here at Kansas. This feels really awesome. It's really Furniture Row's home track, and just feels really good to finally get another one here. We got that one in the spring after so many heartbreaks, and then today it didn't look like it was going to happen, and we just persevered.